Your commentators are Mitch McCutchen, Ryan Trickett, and Russell Irby.
While the rest of the world was in a state of war, the United States did its best to prepare for its entry into the war in case anything should happen that would cause that to be a necessary action. One of these preparations was Roosevelt's order to send a U.S. fleet to be stationed in the Pacific. One of these bases was Pearl Harbor on the Hawaiian island of Oahu. And on December 2nd, 1941, this base received a message from Washington telling them that it had intercepted a Japanese message and deciphered that the Japanese Admiral Yamamoto was planning a Pacific attack, but the exact location and time of this attack was unknown.
The December 7th attack on Pearl Harbor had been a devastating blow to the Pacific Fleet. The Japanese sent 350 aircraft that damaged 21 ships moored at the harbor. 8 of those were battleships. There were also 200 American planes destroyed and another 150 damaged. 2,400 American lives were lost that day, including 1,177 on the Arizona alone. The bottom line is that they were just caught off guard and never stood a chance.
The Japanese thought that the only thing standing between them and the domination of the Pacific was the American fleet stationed there. Their plan was to destroy these fleets and hopefully gain dominance of the Pacific for 2 years and build an impenetrable defensive ring using island airfields. Yamamoto was a little hesitant. He said, "I fear we will wake a sleeping giant." But he went ahead anyway. Unfortunately for them, the main targets, which were the American aircraft carriers, were delivering planes to Midway and Wake Islands, because that was where the Americans believed the attack would happen. With these important targets missing, Yamamoto's fears would undoubtedly become true.
At 7:02 a.m., one of the 2 privates on duty looks at the radar and he can't believe his eyes. He turns to his buddy and asks him to take a look, and he confirms the sighting. There are more than 50 aircraft on bearing for Oahu. The privates call Fort Shafter Information Center, the hub of the radar network.
An Army lieutenant who's in training at the Radio Network Operations Center at Fort Shafter gets the Opana radar station report. It is the biggest radar report the radar operator had ever seen. By now, the planes are about 70 miles away. The lieutenant believes that the radar had picked up a flight of U.S. B-17 Flying Fortress bombers heading from California to Hawaii. All he says is, "Well, don't worry about it."
From a decoded Japanese message, President Roosevelt and General George Marshall learned that Japanese negotiators in Washington had been told to break off communication. Now, believing this may mean war, Marshall sends a warning to Lieutenant General Walter Short, commander of the U.S. Army forces in Hawaii. Atmospheric static blacks out communications with Hawaii, so Marshall's message goes via commercial telegraph. It will reach Short's headquarters at 11:45.
Air Attack Commander Mitsuo Fuchida, looking down on Pearl Harbor, sees no aircraft carriers, which the Japanese hope to destroy and thus thwart U.S. retaliation. He orders his telegraph operator to tap out "tow, tow, tow," attack. The other taps "Tora, Tora, Tora," attack, surprise achieved. Though not meant to have a double meaning, Tora read sometimes by Japanese pilots as Tora or tiger, and according to Japanese saying, a tiger goes out 2,000 miles and returns without fail.
At 7:55, the attack starts. Commander Logan C. Ramsey looks out a window to see a low-flying plane. At first he thinks it's a reckless U.S. pilot. Then he sees something black fall out of that plane and realizes it's a bomb. Ramsey runs to a radio room and orders the telegraph operators to send out an uncoded message to every ship and base. Air raid on Pearl Harbor. This is not a drill.
Torpedo after torpedo find their target. The Oklahoma has taken on water and flipped over, trapping several men inside. The West Virginia has been hit with at least 6 torpedoes and is resting on the bottom of the harbor with its deck above the water in flames. The California is hit and slowly sinks, finally reaching the bottom on the night of December 10th, 3 days after the attack. The Japanese want to make sure they are not attacked in the sky, so they decimate airfields as well. A 550-pound bomb falls through the roof of a 3,200-person barrack and explodes in the dining hall, killing 35 men at breakfast, while another bomb destroys the base chapel.
At 8:10, an armor-piercing bomb pierces the forward deck of the Arizona, setting off more than 1 million pounds of gunpowder, killing 1,177 men. A sailor on the battleship Nevada sees the Arizona jump at least 15 or 20 feet upward in the water and sort of break in two. It only takes 9 minutes for the Arizona to be on the bottom.
Many ships try to make their way out of the harbor, but Japanese planes see this as an opportunity to trap the other ships in by sinking one in the mouth of the harbor. Some of the ships notice this and run themselves aground before they can be sunk, and others make it out into open water. At 8:54, the second wave of the Japanese attack. They mostly attack the Navy Yard dry dock.
This was Pearl Harbor, America's prime naval base in the Hawaiian Islands. 19 proud ships rested on the bottom. 4,572 men were dead, wounded, or missing. In the hands of Japan rested the balance of power in the Pacific. Bought at a known cost of 48 planes shot down, 3 midget submarines, perhaps 150 men.
Hickam failed. In all, 97 Army planes were destroyed, according to the figures in the plain-spoken disclosure given by the United States government to the American people about the facts of Pearl Harbor. This is the record of what President Roosevelt has called the day that will live in infamy. Infamy that this nation is avenging.
By 10 o'clock, the attacks were over and the Japanese planes left to meet their carriers. In all, 29 Japanese planes were lost. In the next 44 months, however, the U.S. Navy will sink every one of the Japanese aircraft carriers, battleships, and cruisers in the strike.